Princess Naira of the Starbound Throne wanted a warrior, not a diplomat. Not another captain who bowed and ran when the plasma started falling. She wanted someone who could stand before Lord Akradon in his 7 war houses. Someone who could teach her how to fight for a kingdom priced for surrender. So she sent a plea beyond civilized maps to Earth. And humanity answered with an old man carrying a sword. His name was Kale Armand, last registered swordmaster of Earth. No powered armor, no noble blood, no genetic crest, only quiet eyes. A weathered face and hands wrapped in cloth. When he entered the Hall of Stars, Naira's court laughed openly, because the enemy brought warships, siege moons, and shock legions, while Earth had sent a grandfather with a museum weapon. Naira felt humiliation burn behind her crown, until Kale set the wooden case down, opened it, and the hall saw the blade inside. It was not beautiful because it was new. It was beautiful because it had survived. The sword was dark steel, old earthforge work, plain hilt, worn grip, no glowing edge, no AI targeting spirit, no jewels. Lord Akradon's envoy sneered that the weapon belonged in an archive. Kale lifted it and said, "Archives are where empires put things they were foolish enough to stop fearing." The laughter faded, because his voice carried the calm of a man who had met death and found it repetitive. Naira dismissed the court and confronted him in the training ring. "I asked for a warrior," she said. Kale answered, "No, princess. You asked for someone who would not lie to you." She stiffened. He pointed the sword toward her jeweled armor. "That costume will kill you. Your stance is ceremony. Your guards protect your rank, not your body, and your enemy knows it." Naira drew her ceremonial blade in anger. Kale stepped once, touched her wrist with the flat of his sword, and her weapon clattered across the floor. That was the first lesson. A crown can command silence, but it cannot command balance for 7 days. Kale ruined every royal habit she owned. He made her train without attendance, music, or praise. He made her fall until she stopped being offended by the ground. He made her run palace stairs in servant boots. Made her eat with soldiers, made her watch mechanics repair whole wounds. When she complained that a princess should inspire from above, he said, "Then learn what below looks like before you ask people to die there." On the 8th day, Lord Akradon arrived, taller than any guard, plated in red war shell, carrying a blade made of magnetic fire. His fleet hovered above the capital like a second night. He offered Naira one final choice: marriage, surrender, or trial by champion. Her nobles begged her to accept marriage, her admirals begged her to preserve the city. Kale simply looked at her and waited. The second lesson came without mercy. Survival borrowed from fear is only surrender with softer language. Naira chose trial, and the court nearly broke from panic. Akradon laughed when Kale stepped forward as her champion. "Old human," he said, "your species still fights with metal." Kale bowed slightly, not submissive, just exact. "We fight with memory. Metal only helps." The arena opened beneath the palace dome. Millions watching across the star kingdoms. Akradon moved first, fire blades screaming. Each strike strong enough to split stone. Kale did not meet power with power. He turned it, borrowed it, walked around it, letting the warlord cut air pillars pride. The first clash sounded like a bell struck inside the bones of the city. Akradon grew angry, and anger made him faster. Kale accepted every inch of retreat as if spending coins. 1 step, 2 steps, a shoulder turn, a low guard. A flat cut against armor seams. Enough to teach? Naira saw what others missed. Kale was showing watching soldiers that monsters could be made to miss, that terror had rhythm, that a god of war could be tired, then Akradon cheated. His armor released hidden drones, illegal under trial law. Needle-sized machines darting toward Kale's eyes. The court gasped, but Kale was already moving. He threw his cloak into the swarm, cut through fabric and drones together. Sparks falling like dead stars, then looked toward Naira, as if saying, "This is what enemies do when losing becomes visible." The final lesson was not about the sword. It was about what the sword refused to serve. Akradon lunged toward the princess instead of the champion. Breaking the circle, guards froze. Nobles screamed. Naira reached for the ceremonial blade she had once trusted. But Kale stepped between them, caught the fire blade along ancient steel, and for one impossible heartbeat. Earth metal held against Warlord Flame, Kale's arms shook. His boots carved lines into the arena floor. But he smiled, almost sadly. You should have stayed afraid of old things. He twisted beneath the wrist. The fire weapon spun free. Kale struck Acrodon's armored knee with the sword pummel, dropped the giant to one leg, then placed the plain earth blade beneath his throat. The arena went silent. Naira expected execution. The warhouses expected blood. Kale did neither. He lowered the sword and said, "A swordmaster is not the last man willing to kill. He is the last man willing to stop when killing becomes easy." Acrodon's commanders saw their lord kneeling, alive only because a human had more discipline than hatred, and the illusion of invincibility broke. By dawn, the siege fleet withdrew, not defeated by numbers, but by the sight of a warlord, spared in public. Naira stood before her people, wearing no jeweled armor, only a training coat and servant boots. She named Kale, protector of the realm, but he refused the title. "I am a teacher, princess, not a trophy." She bowed to him before the court that had laughed, and this time, no one laughed back. Years later, when Naira became the Star Queen, her empire did not remember the old man as a relic. They remembered him as the final blade of earth, the human who taught a princess that warriors are not built from rage, but restraint, not from weapons, but purpose. And when cadets asked why the academy began every oath with silence, they were told the story of the day the Princess of the Stars wanted a warrior, and humanity sent her the last swordmaster, too old for pride, too trained for fear, and too human to kneel before cruelty.